Hi guys, today I removed the fuel tank to the 6.3. Pretty straightforward. One little hiccup I had was that this guy had a tow bar hitch, so I had to, it's about 5, well actually 2 bolts here and 4, there was about 6 bolts in all, attaching that guy, and then that gave me access to the a few bolts that are around the fuel tank, and then it's a simple question of obviously making sure we drained it first. It didn't have any fuel in it, so that was good. Yeah, you can see the tank's out. On the exhaust side there are no mount bolts, there's just these pads here that buff against that heat shield up there, and then we've got 2 bolts here that hold it in, and then one at the very back. And then there is one just there. There's a, see that mounting bolt just there, that one as well. So it's not a great deal of bolts holding this guy in. Obviously you have to disconnect the sender unit, and that gives me a chance to look under here and clean it. There's the leveling valve. See there? That does look cleaner than everything else in here, so I'm wondering whether those were rebuilt at some point, because they do operate, which is awesome. And yeah, get all these cobwebs and crap out of the way and see what we're dealing with. Tank seems to be in pretty good shape. I'll clean that up and give that a lick of paint and sluice it out inside. Before, on my other cars, I haven't got any video of it, but what I did was I put some muriatic acid inside and then attached this to a cement mixer and just spun it with a bunch of brass nuts and bolts in there, obviously brass so there was no spark or anything, and then spun that for literally 30 minutes. That made me popular in the neighborhood. And then because it's muriatic acid, when you empty it, it can flash rust, so I mixed up an alkaline solution to counteract that. So I emptied the acid out, put the alkaline solution in, held the rust, and then rinsed it out with I think I used diesel or something, and then left it to dry for many days, and it came out really clean. And then I didn't bother painting the other one because that was in pretty decent shape on the exterior, but this one I will. I'll clean it all off and paint it, and so there you go for that. Okay, well we've got the tank upside down here now. I noticed that it's got all this, looks to be like some kind of under seal or something that someone's put on here, and I thought I'd just show you how thick this stuff is. The tank underneath is, again, it's quite dented, probably due to the bumpy road it was on, but look at all this stuff. But what's nice is that it seems to have preserved, look at that, seems to have preserved the tank quite well. I think the guy probably worked at the had shares in the company that makes this stuff, because he put a lot on there. I thought we'd discover that the tank was in bad shape, but no. What I'm going to do is get a smaller scraper. Stuff seems to come off pretty easy. I'm not trying to win any competitions, but while you're under here you might as well tidy it up the best you can. Look at all that. But like I say, it's kind of nice in a way because it has preserved the tank. Get to this filter here, and I'll take that off in a minute, and I'll clean all this off before we remove it so we don't get any rubbish going in the tank. What we're going to try and do here, get that on the camera probably, just going to try and experiment. I mean, scraping it off pretty easy, but while we're here, why not? Obviously because I do furniture, I got a load of furniture stripper around, and let's see what this does. This should bite into it and strip that crap off pretty well. This is your standard furniture stripper. It's a non-methylene chloride one that I think just recently they changed the rules about different strippers, because some bloke apparently locked himself in a bathroom and decided it was a good idea to strip the bath with stripper, and it killed him. Not the wisest character, but anyway, this is a Jasco non-methylene chloride stripper. I'm just experimenting here, you know, while we're out on a nice day. We're outside. Obviously you've got to do this on the outside, not in a locked bathroom. Let's just see how that works. You've got, with furniture stripping, you've got to keep everything just wet. Don't let it dry out. So you can see that's reacting there. Starting to react. Obviously take off any paint as well. And then we'll wash it all down and, you know, clean it up best we can, and then recoat, I guess prime it and recoat it. I'm just doing this to see what happens, really, if you're honest here. Okay, let's had about 10 minutes. Let's see how this worked. Actually, it's coming off pretty easy. This might not be necessary. Yeah, the tar is just peeling off. So, yeah, I don't know. It's certainly biting down into the paint. You gotta get underneath it. Oh yeah, that's. Oh yeah. That's pretty good. Like I say, you've got to get underneath it. And then it doesn't stand a chance, you know. As you can see, all the rubbish that came off that tank is right there. So, I'll show you the tank. Well, as you can see, it's come out pretty good, I'd say. It's obviously got some dents and what have you in here where he's bumped over some things, and it's got a few little bits of paint still and tar that I will clean off by hand, but that gives me a good base to start. Then I can remove now the strainer in here without any worry about stuff going in there. And now I'll rinse the tank out, probably with some diesel, and just get that as cleaned out as possible. I'll shine a flashlight in there, see what it looks like. So I think that was pretty successful. Okay, I think that all cleaned up pretty well. The top here I didn't obviously bother stripping. I'll probably put some new of these pads on here to press up against the underside, but that's for later on. And I'm going to leave the sender unit in until I've rinsed it all out properly and thoroughly. I'll take that. It has a cork gasket in there that I'll obviously replace. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Alright, take care.